All right, so we're going to take a moment here to talk about the Pythagorean Theorem. And I'm going to actually show you a proof of the Pythagorean Theorem, of which there are many. But the reason we're going over the Pythagorean Theorem right now is it is one of the most prolific and useful theorems in mathematics. It's got tons of uses. And we'll talk more about those in a minute. But let's look at the Pythagorean Theorem. So the Pythagorean Theorem says that if you have a right triangle, and you take the two legs, or you add up the squares of the two legs, okay, a squared plus b squared, that's going to equal the square of the hypotenuse, the large side, the one opposite the C there, or I'm sorry, the 90-degree angle. So what does that really mean? Well, when we say we're squaring something, what that really means is a square of side C. So that square there, we know all these sides here are just C, and it has an area of C squared. Well, hopefully you can kind of look ahead and see that that's kind of what we're going to end up using. Now, I'm going to actually draw in the triangle in all of these other little sections here. So now I'm going to fill in the different values. I've kind of color-coded everything, so it makes it pretty easy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually write out the area of all of these smaller figures, which are just triangles. So they're just 1/2 base times height. So the area of each of these should just be 1/2 times A times B, right? The base and the height. Okay. And what I'm going to do is an old trick, because I'm going to calculate the area of this rectangle two different ways. One of the ways I'm going to calculate it is I'm going to do, it's a rectangle, so it's just base times height, or length times width. Well, the length and width of this, it's a square actually, is just A plus B. So I've just got A plus B times A plus B, okay? And then that has to be equal to the area of the same square, even if I calculate it a different way. So the other way I could calculate the area is I could just add up all of the components. So I have 4 of these triangles here, and each one of them has an area of 1/2 AB. So I have 4 times 1/2 times A times B. And that takes care of the triangles. And then I just need to add in the area of the square in the middle, and that gives me the area of the whole thing. Now, multiplying out A plus B times A plus B, I could FOIL it. I can use the little box method. I'm not going to show those steps because they're not that important right now, but in the end, I get A squared plus 2AB plus B squared is equal to, I can simplify out this to 2 times A times B plus C squared. Well, now, hopefully you see what I'm going to do next. I have 2AB on both sides, so I'm just going to subtract that from both sides. And that'll cancel both of those to 0. And then I'm just left with A squared plus B squared. And then on the right side, C squared. And I've now proven the Pythagorean Theorem. I now challenge you to go out and use Google to find your own favorite proof of the Pythagorean Theorem. There are well over 50 of them. In fact, President Garfield, who is one of our presidents, actually did his own unique proof of this. So, find one and email that on in to me, please.